Hello. I know what you're saying. I have a computer in front of me. Well, what could I be doing with the computer? Let's talk about that. Last Friday, there was a horrible crime that was committed in Colorado. Young gentleman by the name of James Holmes went into a movie theater and shot well over 70 people. Or just about. You know, he killed 12 people and injured another 58. And many of them are still in critical condition right now. Now, a lot of people look at these pieces right here as hate pieces. I don't. And there's many reasons to it. You know, we have the classic revolver, we have a 1911, and then we've got a Glock 19. You know, this man went into a movie theater and shot numerous people. In this video, we're going to talk about what happened over there, and also as well as some of the gun laws and some of the other laws that Colorado has. So, I'm going to clear off these weapons. And I'm going to boot up the first sight. You know, my heart does go out to whoever was affected by this shooting incident in Colorado. But there may have been methods to prevent it. And some of them, you know, we will talk about that. Now, first sight. Gentleman right here went into a movie theater in Colorado. Shot 70 people. You know, he was on heavy narcotics. I think they said he was on Vicodin. And a few other drugs. The weapons he carried was, he went into the theater in full ballistic armor. He was carrying a .40 caliber Glock. It does not give the model number, but I put money on it that it was a Glock 22. They found one of them on his persons, and then they found another one in his vehicle, fully ready to go. A Remington 870 single barrel pump shotgun. I got one of those. Smith & Wesson AR-15 assault style rifle. But to me, that's not an assault rifle. An assault rifle to me is something that's fully automatic. Connecticut does have their own laws on this. He was on heavy narcotics like Vicodin, and a few other drugs. I forgot. Yeah, I'm just going through. And don't mind me, I'm going through just to refresh my memory. I mean, I still got a lot of this still in my head. Now, we know he was on narcotics. We know he had legally purchased these weapons from a couple different locations. He stocked up on ammo. He bought all of his ammunition and his ballistic armor online. And they had it sent right to his house. You know, he thought he portrayed him. He thought he was the Joker, and that this was a big joke. Drugs can play a massive role on somebody. Obviously, this man right here played a big role. He bought thousands upon thousands of rounds of ammunition. They didn't want to say how many he bought, but it's out there. After he was done with the shooting, he went outside. Cops surrounded him. What did he do? Did he pick up a fight? No. What he ended up doing was actually giving up. He gave right up to the police. He didn't resist. I mean, in ways it was smart on his part, but at the same time it wasn't. Now, the question I want to ask right now is, why wasn't anybody in the theater carrying? I know the people in Colorado are going to end up saying, well, it was a gun-free zone. Well, the way you have to look at it is, I live in Connecticut. I go through gun-free zones. I still carry. They say you can't go into a bar and carry. I don't go into bars. Can't go into the post office and carry. So, I buy my stamps at Stop and Shop. There's ways around it, but no matter where I go, once I step out of my house, one of these is on me at all times. Then he tells the police after he gets arrested, he's booby-trapped his house. They found enough explosives in there that the first person that walked through the door would have been killed. But nobody else would have been seriously injured. I mean, they told everybody in the apartment complex to get out. So you're talking, we're talking about a man who killed 12 people, injured another 58. Police said bomb squad personnel removed 30 softball-sized improvised explosive devices from the living room in an 800 square foot apartment. The door had been rigged with a device that police chief said was intended to kill whoever opened it. Then he ended up sending a package. Or he was sending a package out, but it got stopped at the school mailroom. Inside the and they evacuated the building. This package prompted the building's evacuation at 12:16 p.m. and employees were allowed to return in by 3:06 p.m. But inside the package, sources say that the letter was from the Pent-Up Homes to one of his professors. In it, he talked about shooting people and even included crude drawings of a gunman and his victims. So why take it out on innocent people in a theater? You're pissed off at a professor. You're dropping out of school because of it. A source familiar with Holmes' academic status said that the 24-year-old suspect did poorly on an oral exam. 3 days later, Holmes initiated his withdrawal from the program. We're talking about a kid that we're talking about a kid who had a lot of smarts. He was going for his doctorate, but the picture revealed no immediate answers as to the possible motive. He was at the top of the class. He was ahead of every student academically. You know, he got along with everybody. You know, as of Wednesday of this week, they're still caring for 17 patients, 6 of whom are still in critical condition. Now, this raises my question again. Even though Colorado had that gun-free zone, why wasn't anybody carrying? You know, it's not hard to hide this on your persons. It's not hard to hide this on your persons. A little pocket carry, smaller than your hand, but yet nobody in that theater was carrying. Nobody in that theater even had as much as a knife. Yeah, granted this thing's dull, but in the right place it would have still dropped somebody. You know, nobody had the balls after he turned his back to go up and knock the kid down. You know, one person shooting one of those. That's a .357 Magnum. That would have dropped him down instantly. 9mm is still very accurate and would have still gone right through his protective glass. Or his protective gas mask. It would have still gone through his eyes. But yet, nobody was carrying. Or people that were carrying didn't care. You know, they cared more about getting out than saving the life of somebody. You know, Colorado has some really strange gun laws too. I'm on Colorado Ceasefire.org. You know, here's some of the biggest laws that I found. Juvenile possession. It's a partial law. Inside that law, it states that under the age of 18, a child cannot go in and purchase a handgun. But it doesn't stop the parent or a friend from buying a handgun or buying a rifle, a shotgun, or an assault rifle and giving it to a minor. All it does is stop them from carrying one. License or permit to purchase. Is a license or permit required to purchase handguns? No. You know, then we're going to go into their background checks. Background checks at state level. Yes, they do offer it. As for a background check at a store, no. They do offer it, but it's not something that... How can I put this? They do a background check, but they only do it on an instant background check. You know, if he clears through the federal government, he's able to walk out the door with it. There's no waiting period. There's no safety requirements or safety training requirements. Connecticut, in order to get your pistol permit, you have to go through an NRA sanctioned class. You know, if you want to buy a rifle, you have to wait 2 weeks if you don't have a permit. A minimum of 2 weeks. Whereas with a permit, you could just walk in and buy one. Gun show checks. Yeah, they offer, they do a background check, but it's that instant one. So you're talking no waiting period, no requirement to register your weapons with law enforcement, no safety training. You know, So, CCW limits. Colorado state law forces police to let almost anyone carry a concealed handgun in public, posing a dangerous threat to police and public safety. So in order to carry a handgun in Colorado, you don't need a license. You just have to carry it concealed. Juvenile possession. Colorado state law restricts juveniles from under the age of 18 possessing handguns without parental permission or authorized supervision. There are no restrictions on juveniles possessing rifles or shotguns, including semi-automatic assault rifles. Juvenile sale. Colorado state law limits selling or giving handguns to juveniles under the age of 18. But there are no state restrictions on transferring rifles, shotguns, or even assault rifles to kids, with or even without their parents' permission. You know, there's no record keeping, so they can't track where the guns go. There's no waiting period. No state law or no state requirement that there will be a waiting period for gun sales beyond an instant check in federal law. Police are not given any additional time to run criminal background check to make sure that the buyer is not prohibited from acquiring firearms. There is no cooling off period to help prevent crimes of passion. So basically, if you get pissed off at your wife or your girlfriend, you can go out, buy a gun, shoot her, and then be free and clear. You know, you got this guy out, and I just saw this when I booted up Firefox on the Yahoo. A new Joker massacre thwarted by Maryland cops. 1 week after the Colorado movie shooting, Maryland state cops arrested a heavily armed man who told his employer he was a Joker and he was going to blow everybody up. You know, they found about 25 firearms at his house, including semi-automatic rifles, shotguns, and handguns. They found thousands upon thousands of rounds of ammunition in 40 large steel boxes. He was quoted by telling his employer, "I am a Joker. I'm going to load my guns and blow everybody up." Yeah, I'm not going to get into this subject because you know what? This guy's another person all of himself. Whereas this man already did enough damage. Colorado has some really strange laws too. Such as they've only sentenced one person to death, or actually carried out one death in Colorado's prison since 1977. And that man was Gary Lee Davis. Method lethal injection. The last person before him was in 1967. So you're talking, there's a 30-year span between deaths in the prisons. Colorado is known for being the last state to make use of the lethal gas prior to 1972. I mean, they had I don't know how many people. Yeah, it doesn't really say this on Wikipedia. But since 1977, only one person's been executed, and he killed one person. You know, they're going to seek the death penalty on, James Holmes. the alleged gunman in the 2012 Aurora shooting. You know, but this is just how tough it is to kill somebody in this state. You know, anti-gunners and gun owners alike, we should all sit down and think to ourselves, how is it that Colorado has no laws restricting sales on handguns? In Connecticut, I need a permit to carry in order to buy any one of these. You know, even this little guy, I still need a permit to carry. Granted, if I have a permit to carry, you know, I don't have to have a waiting period. I can just walk out the door with it. But again, I know there's no crimes against me. Otherwise, if there was even one crime against me, they'd pull my permit. And I wouldn't be able to buy any one of these. Then they'd send somebody over to serve me saying I have to hide or get rid of all my weapons. So, Colorado has no way of tracing their handguns. They have no way of saying who has them and who doesn't. You know, some of those laws should be changed. I'm not going to be the first one to say this, and I'm sure I'm not going to be the last. But for Colorado State to pull that, you know, especially after the Columbine school shooting, you know, they should have changed the laws then. Saying, hey, wait a second, why is it that these kids got my gun? But yet, they never changed that law. That's, I mean, I'm not going to say that the crime that James Holmes did commit was wrong, because you know what it was. It really was. You know, the kid was mentally disturbed. You know, if you're going to have a state law like that, you know, at least have enough common sense to say, wait a second, this kid is not mentally right in his head. You know, I'm going to kill this sale. I'm not going to do this. At least put some kind of laws and restrictions in place to stop another Holmes from happening. Another mass shooting. You know, the news reports said that this was the worst shooting in years in history. You know, they don't know how many shots he fired. You know, they're not going to release any of those details because they have yet to really find them. Well, anyways, I've got to get ready for my other job. I will talk to you guys later. You know, as always, you know, just remember, check your local laws and regulations before doing anything. You know, let's see if we could try to prevent another Aurora shooting incident. You know, see if there isn't some laws that can get changed. You know, even if it only saves one person. So, again, I say, you know what? My heart goes out to anybody affected by that shooting. These are a right. My right to possess them My right to keep them, my right to carry them. The Second Amendment states we have the right to bear arms, but not for criminals. You know, a case like James, the kid was mentally disturbed. You know, I'm not going to say I don't go through stress, and I'm not going to say you guys don't go through stress, but you know what? We all have enough common sense not to take it out on somebody. If I have a bad day or a bad week or a bad month, you know, I'm going to save my aggression. I'm not going to let it eat me up. And I'm going to take it down to the range. At least I know point blank, putting a rifle in my hand, hitting that target, you know, trying to better myself. At least I know that calms me down. Yeah, everybody has to have a way to calm themselves down. Everybody. But some of the laws, like I said, in Colorado should be changed. So, anyways, I'm getting off. I gotta get ready. You know, you guys have yourself a safe night. I'll talk to you guys the next time. So until then, remember, these things are dangerous. But you know what? In the right hands and with the right training, they give a lot of respect. Not only to yourself, but to a lot of other people too. So, I will talk to you guys later.